This group of players is considered the future of Egypt's most successful hockey club, Sharkia. The region north of the country is Egypt's hockey hub. Across Egypt, football is often the sport of choice for many youth. But here in Sharkia, hockey holds that pride of place among its youngsters. The sport was introduced by the British to secondary schools in 1922 and it became a culture.
The hockey of Sharkia has a big history inside everyone, every player, every family.
I play because my father is a coach and everyone I know played it.
The Sharkia Academy was founded in 2013 and today has almost 500 boys and girls aged between 7 to 16 years.
Our dream, not just to make a stronger team, but a grand base from children. If you have a grand base, you can easily select talent, not just players. If you have talents, you can easily control hockey field.
Lotfi Amin played for the club when they won their first African club title in the 80s. The club has added 20 more over the years to hold the continental record.
We all grew up hearing stories of how Sharkia is dominant in Africa, and so one day I'd like to achieve that as well.
But after 12 titles in a row, Sharkia has failed to win the last 2 editions. Eastern Company claimed the titles, continuing Egypt's 28-year dominance in the men's continental club competition.
We've had some financial challenges in the last few years because the sports club is now pumping more money into football. In this academy, for example, parents meet the cost for their children, and it takes a lot of sacrifice on the part of coaches who make do with very little. We hope this academy can bear fruit and soon help us to return to being among the top African clubs.
For now, Sharkia hopes its players can help Egypt return to the top of African hockey. Sharkia has 9 players in the national side for men at this year's Africa Cup for Nations.
It's easy to push mental of player, how to become good player, how to enter our national team, how has a soul to fight inside the field, because something must the player believe inside him, he can do.
The club also prides itself with exporting hockey talent to European clubs, and these youngsters hope they can be the next crop of stars to continue the club's legacy in Africa and beyond. Celestine Karoney, CGTN, Sharkia, Egypt.
Well, Celestine Karoney is still with us in Egypt. This time, she'll be looking at the Hockey Africa Cup of Nations. Celeste, status quo looks set to be maintained, with South Africa getting the titles.
Yes, definitely, Beatrice. South Africa have been the outstanding team really in this competition. When you look at the women's division, they have scored 24 goals and not conceded 1. They are going to play against Ghana in the final for the title, and they did beat Ghana today 3-0 in the final match in the round-robin stage. So Beatrice, really, they are the team to beat, but Ghana will be motivated in the women's group by the fact that should they beat South Africa, then they will qualify for the World Cup, which South Africa has already qualified for. In the men's competition, you're looking at 2 sides that have been unbeaten, South Africa and Egypt. Egypt have outscored South Africa so far in the competition. When they met in the group stage, it was a 3-3 affair, Egypt coming from 2 goals down to equalize that match. But then again, Beatrice, Egypt have the advantage of playing at home, and so it is a bit tricky in the men's competition because you're looking at the situation where the winner takes it all, both the gold medal and the place to the World Cup, Beatrice.
Well, the men's final is what everyone really is watching. So what would an Egypt win mean for the country?
Well, Beatrice, for a sport that really dates back to pharaonic times in this country, it really does not get as much recognition. Of course, in the face of football, which is the most popular sport here and easy to sell, hockey really has been struggling. And so a World Cup berth would mean that hockey would get more recognition. And more recognition means more youth would want to play the sport. More youth playing the sport would mean it would be easy to sell to sponsors to say, look, we have this great group of people playing hockey, and then we would want more funding. So it is really a ripple effect when you look at it holistically, that a World Cup berth would mean better fortunes for a sport that really is struggling to come up to even the top 5 within Egypt, Beatrice.
So more recognition for the sport is what would be ideal. Is the African hockey body in that regard then planning to lobby for more opportunities for the continent in the World Cup?
Lobbying for more opportunities in the World Cup is a bit tricky here because, you see, for hockey, it is really, it depends mainly on ranking, because even in Africa, you have 2 tiers of competition. You have the best 8 teams or so, and then you have the next level of the best teams. This is because with hockey, they really don't like situations where you go to competitions and people are losing 25-0, you know, or 30, or sometimes even 30-0. So what African hockey really say here is that South Africa, because South Africa compete in the World League, they should endeavor to qualify for the World Cup in the World League. Then when you come to the African competition, then should South Africa not win either the men or the women's competition, but they've already qualified, then whichever team wins, that means Africa will have 2 teams in the competition in the World Hockey. Because as it stands right now, it really is a matter of ranking, and there's nothing much African hockey can do if teams do not work for themselves to get these qualification places by improving their sports at home, and then that translates to continental success, Beatrice.
Right, Celestine Karoney joining us with all that from Cairo. Thank you.